Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be talking about the show Over the Garden Wall just a little bit. It's a show about a group with two brothers, a bluebird and a frog, and the two brothers are kind of the main focus of the show, but the bluebird Beatrice is also a pretty big part as well. It's not uncommon in this show for there to be like a whimsical sort of vibe, where like the boys might talk to animals or ride this giant goose, but it also is sometimes kind of a darker show, especially towards the end. And like, I don't know, that is something I've always been really interested in, especially around the fall Halloween season. So I decided, actually a while ago, because this is quite an old drawing, but I decided to draw some fan art for this show, and today I'm going to be sharing that fan art with you guys. Jumping right into it though, I knew I wanted to draw a pretty like cute scene, and in one of the episodes, episode 6, there is a fairy that like moves the boys around to where they need to go, and they actually sneak onto the ferry in the episode, and at one point they end up singing a song, and it's a whole deal. But anyways, I wanted to draw something from that episode, like a scene from that episode. So I started by drawing the ferry, and I kept having to zoom in here and there because I drew it kind of zoomed out at first. And I have to say, I do not like drawing architectural pieces very much at all. That took me a long time, and actually I started the piece and then I left the drawing for like a month because I did not like how it was going. But then one day I guess I decided just to go back and try it again. And ultimately I'm really glad I did because I really like how this drawing turns out in the end. But as you can see right now, I am starting to draw in the characters, although the line art looks a little funky. But this is the older brother from the show. His name is Wirt, which is kind of a funky name, at least in my opinion. But I put a lot of details into his bassoon that he's playing, and on his head is standing the frog that Greg, throughout the entire show, brings around with him and is trying to name. But I'll have to show you a picture of what the scene actually looks like, because this is based like straight from a scene in the story. So let me show you, one sec. Okay, so yeah, this is what the scene actually looks like. I definitely simplified it a little bit as I took away the band in the background, but I also wanted to like do it from a different angle. I wanted to see if it was possible for me to do something that wasn't just like a straight on shot of a drawing, because up until this point, a lot of the art that I had been doing had not been very like 3D feeling. It had felt very, very flat. And this drawing arguably still feels a little bit flat because I feel like there are some issues with the way I drew the architecture. But then again, I did draw this drawing about a year ago, a little bit less, and I'm kind of just trying to catch up with my YouTube videos, which, if you listen to my last voiceover video, the point or the idea was to get that all done over this last summer, but I kind of slacked and haven't really been posting much, at least not long form videos. So here I am still trying to get caught up. But yeah, I feel like since then I have seen a lot of improvement, but that doesn't mean that I don't like this piece, because I do really like this piece, and I do feel like it was kind of a little bit of like a transformational piece for me. I feel like I learned a lot from it, especially because at one point, probably around this time, actually no, a little bit earlier in the point of the time lapse, but I actually made a short on YouTube and also on Instagram. I made a reel asking like my audience to help me with like giving me tips on how I could improve the drawing. And earlier on, you would have seen that I had kind of like used a lot of mute colors, especially with the characters, so they really blended into the background, especially like the frog, because the background's green and he kind of just like blended in. And same with like Greg's pants, they're green. So it was kind of really useful actually to go and ask you guys what I could do to improve the piece, because I was told all sorts of things like how I could fix the anatomy, how I could make the characters pop out more by brightening their colors, or maybe making the background more mute. And overall, I think it helped a lot. And also, like the lighting. Everyone told me to do cool lighting, which I don't know. If you know anything about my art, I do like to mess around with lighting quite a bit, and like shadows. And I feel like this piece is pretty cool with that. There's quite a bit of like glowy lighting, and the shadows are pretty okay. Maybe they don't make the most sense, but that's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Looking at it, even though this was a year ago, I think asking you guys for help was a very good idea, and I actually have done it a few more times since then, even on some recent pieces that I've done. But yeah, that is how the piece turned out, and I really hope you enjoy how it turned out. I also hope that maybe there are a few of you that are over the garden wall fans out there, so that I'm not just boring you with a random video about a random show. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you liked my art, and if you have any suggestions for future videos or future drawings, please do let me know. Bye bye!